Yes, I am back. All right, this hopefully should be good. Are you there, Arno? Well, huh. Well, I need to. Get this started. For those watching, I was having audio problems. I hope I'm no longer having audio problems. First, no audio, then stuttering audio. I will make an audio test here now and play it back to myself to see that how it may or may not be working here. All right. That. I will make an audio test here now and play it back to myself to see that. Okay, seems like we're doing much better here. Okay, well, my audio was working yesterday. I know this because I live streamed yesterday. For some reason today the audio was just not working. Why is this? I have no idea. It is some of the mysteries of modern computing. Alright, let's see. We're going to send you down here via rail. I was looking at let's look at this guy. Edit. This guy. A little too panzery. Too panzery. Not panzery enough, maybe. Is there anybody back or out there now? Please say hi. I want to make sure that you're hearing what or things are all right. Okay. Do not want to pull any one of these divisions away here. Yeah, I'm back. Yes. Hi, Alexander. Brett. And good, Arno is there. Good. Okay, 4th Panzer Division. Take a quick look at you. See this one here, you click on that. A little too heavy. Yeah. We have the Lish Division here. The 4th. Okay, yeah. The 1st. Right. Yes. Right, motorized infantry, and we have the 10th. Rommel has ended up with a lot of very weak divisions. At least this one has some. Now this was somewhat the case of the Africa Corps. They had several special sort of formations that were sort of like this, and that they were thrown together and weren't full proper divisions. We're sending this guy down here, the 7th. This is more what I like here. We have medium tanks. We've got some close support tanks. We've got infantry battalions. Real sort of mix of vehicles. That should be good for us. Type 9 U-boats. Arno wants to know. Well, we can take a quick look at that. Navy, here we are making, I think we are sort of, well, we may actually be sort of producing those, I don't know, for Navy, what are we producing right now? Okay, we're making the Type 7s right now. Some of the other types here, cruiser carriers. Okay, well, I don't know, Arno. I'm not going to dig more deeper than this right now, because we got other things to sort of keep doing. So, let's see. Do we have the... I don't know that I want to make the 7th Division. We do have the 7th Division here, like we were saying. Division design. I know... Okay. We will do those. All of those hoops. See, what I'm wondering here is... do we have events, decisions? It doesn't look like it. Yeah. Hey, the Hoffmanator, the great Hoffmanator is here. How goes the work? Nope, Barbarossa hasn't happened yet. We're looking at a 42. We are, we've taken El Alamein, and we're getting ready to push deeper into there, and we just very recently finished taking out Yugoslavia. So we're going to redeploy a bunch of forces up for Barbarossa and get ready for that. And hello, Lucas Carvalho. How you doing? Yeah, I'm. Yeah. Hello. Oh boy. Mikulas Janosik. I don't mean to mispronounce that, but yes, we are definitely looking at a 42 Barbarossa. That is the plan. Now, as was pointed out to me, let's take a quick look here. I know I still got some more decision stuff to do. And I'm going to actually start making an episode here at this sort of complaint rant. Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745, and I am playing Hearts of Iron 4's Black Ice. And what this series is really meant to do is to look at the economy that they've changed, radically changed. And so, yeah. And I've made complaints before. And we can look here, yeah, we got a bunch of factories on radio equipment, and radio. The levels of radioization. Oh, I'm doing good, Lucas. I'm doing good. In an armed forces in World War II is very critical, and so that's a potential failure point, in production. And then, okay, we've got a lot of factories cranking out aircraft, almost 3.5 a day for fighters. That's what I'm referring to here. Okay, a lot of factories producing rifles or infantry equipment too. And then we have this garrison maintenance crap. I don't think it's crap. I've got, I think, the third most here on garrison maintenance. Now, maybe you can get to a criticism of what I'm doing here. Now, we have a huge amount here for heavy artillery. We have more heavy artillery being factory floor space. Not more than medium and light combined here, but almost. Then we have horse transport. Am I really supposed to be struggling using this much flat fact as a percentage? Now we have even more here for just a bit more for trucks. But was there really this much factory space being made for horse carts, horses, and whatnot? So that's the thing. We have Germans used huge amounts of motorcycles. I'll be here. And I got two factories making motorcycles. And I got 7,800 extra motorcycles. Now we can also click here and see, okay, yeah, some of the motorcycle equipment that's captured probably, but mostly they're the Germans. So this isn't like, oh hey, I've just captured all of France's motorcycles and dumped them into my reserves. Where is basically the case for heavy tanks. We got the 5 sort of historical Neufahrzeug and then some captured French B1s. So that's sort of historical. So this can't be right. I'm not going that this is right. Well, thank you, half potato. So yeah, and as I said before, this is a war game, so you have the word game in it, which is meant to be fun, but you also have if there isn't something that was a point of failure in production, again, as I've said and I've gone and described in detail, sometimes there's points of failure at the front. Okay, all the horses die, so the carts get abandoned, so the divisions lose horse carts. Okay, and that very well may be for the divisions at the front. But if this is a point of failure, or is this a point of significant difference that China had very little motorization. Japan had not too much more motorization, but so very little motorization, so their divisions move, they don't have motorized divisions. And you look at that and go, oh, okay, yeah, here's a point of difference. Chinese divisions and even infantry divisions, because as we can see possibly in the case of the a U.S. infantry division or whatever, I'm just going to pick out generic infantry division here, and I think this might actually even be sort of light in numbers. They've got 10 transport trucks and 20 Kuba wagon type vehicles. So I don't know what I'm not saying this is wrong, but I would that's awfully light for a division. Now, for an American infantry division, they wouldn't have any horse transport. And I shudder to look about over at the U.S. infantry division because, again, the U.S. and British, and I say British, not Commonwealth, British, there were 0 horse transports by 1941. Yeah. I mean, the U.S. was just shaking off the last of its sort of cavalry-mounted stuff back at home. And we could talk about the 10th Mountain Division using some sort of mules or whatnot as special transports, for rugged terrain, not, generic transport facilities. So whether that would equate to 350 trucks, because again, not all trucks are equal and not necessarily equal to one of these wagons, and how much you could, load onto a truck, drive 20 or 30 miles, unload on a truck, and then drive back and get another loading, in a day, shifting stuff back and forth, versus how much you can do that with a wagon, obviously are a great difference. So I don't, again, and I haven't gone in and looked at either historically or in the game here what the U.S. infantry division would do. So yeah, and that could be a serious point of difference where an actual fully motorized U.S. infantry division would have even more trucks. And one of the divisions was sort of known as the Circus, one of the American divisions. After D-Day, the division commander gave orders and assignments and whatnot, and had a large collection of captured German motorized equipment, most notably things like the armored half-track and a few tanks that they, put big, huge white stars on them to keep the friends from shooting at them, but also, just scrounging up trucks and whatnot so that I don't need to keep him here. Let's move him down here just to guard the coast while we're going east. So, okay, Dutov Devlich. The IC cost should be so you only need about 1/3 the factory space, maybe even. Yes, exactly. I am not entirely against the idea of having horse transport as something you produce. And yes, we have a lot of it, and I probably should reduce down now. But I'm also looking at, okay, and I only have, okay, so, well, let's look at, and again, some of this here, okay, we have general mobilization. We probably should go to expanded draft already. So that's, some of the stuff very well might be like manpower being so low. Well, let's just go with foreign because I don't necessarily want to take up. women encouraged. Okay, so here, recruitable population factor plus 1%, recruitable population factor plus 8%. So we get 7% better. The sort of weekly stability, political factors, production efficiency cap. Yeah, women in the labor force. You have to look at two very, very real aspects. And they're both real. Not just some construct that's artificial. No, two very real factors. One, of course, is biological. Women's upper body strength just does not match a man's. It's just a basic fact. Oh, woman bodybuilder. Okay, yeah. What's your percentage of population of women out there that are bodybuilders? Right. So we're looking at this. And in Britain, I know, there was the Women's Land Army, as it was called. The main thing that they did was be help out on the farms. Now, I don't know all of the functions that the Women's Land Army did during the period, and often functions grew, but their largest contribution of labor was farm labor. Often, not always, but often city girls, and it served multiple functions. Obviously, it got more farm labor going on because the men were out fighting, but it also served the function of getting people out of the cities, which were bombing targets. So there are multiple functions there. But they also were responsible, and I think became the primary. I don't have all the facts here. Sorry, people, but the primary labor force in the forestry service, which that means cutting down trees for Britain. And you need lots and lots of wood in a war, whether for your rifle stocks or for your carts, but also for crates to put ammunition in. So when you make whether it's an artillery round, an anti-tank, or tank gun round, or a anti-tank gun round, or an anti-aircraft gun round, they're generally either going in a wooden box or sometimes a wicker, which is basically branches from trees. And so, and weave together a wicker basket and to be shipped around. So that wood, obviously, in both of those cases, can be sort of junk wood. So they're out cutting down and collecting trees, and they're going out and surveying what trees to cut down, marking those up, and then have teams coming in cutting down. And so it would take, and I don't know the exact ratio, but it would take more women to cut down and haul out. And they would often, yes, have animals, horses, maybe some oxen, but animals to drag the large trees out of the forest to some collection point, and then either put on some sort of wagon towed by horses or trucks. And we're looking at Britain's case. So, they're not going to be able to lift as much. So I definitely can see, or there's definitely a physical difference there. There's also a sociological difference and setting that you have to take into account. People, when confronted with a very different circumstance than they are used to, shall we say, can mentally collapse. Okay. And so, let's say take me, for example. I'm a Californian. I live by the ocean. I live in Southern California. I rarely see snow. I was recently around Christmas time in around some snow, and it was a little bit of snow, and it was sort of a curiosity for me in walking around and dealing with it. But if I got into real snow, like in, Alaska or someplace like that, and then I had to do stuff in that snow, walk, go find firewood. I don't mean necessarily could be pure survival, but I mean just sort of do some sort of labor, like, oh, go collect the firewood, go do this, go feed the cattle, go do whatever. And this is the first time I'm really sort of encountering snow. I could have a, and I don't mean, just like sort of give up, because I just, I'm not used to this, get cold and get, just that kind of thing, and just not function well. I may not necessarily die, it just have significant problems. So taking a woman and putting her onto some factory floor with a lot of machinery going on, and especially machinery back then was fairly noisy. Britain, probably you would be surprised at how many was still being used in the 1940s. Machinery from the 19th century that was still being used, in which, whether they were still having a steam plant outside that's burning coal that's running a steam engine, or simply hooking it up to an electrical engine to run it, but still use the old belt system, in which a belt would be from one of these engines going up to something like on the ceiling that would spin it around, sort of, if you think of like a car fan belt or something, but big and wide, and that would run a big metal axle, or whatever you want to say it, along the ceiling, which then you would attach a bunch of other belts to. I'm probably bet you already understand what I'm talking about, but if you're not, run a bunch of other belts to that would then come down to a machine. And a lot of this stuff was like weaving machines that were still, weaving cloth for uniforms and whatnot. Come down and, give power to this machine. And all of that's very deadly. You get caught in it. It's, serious injury to possibly death. And noisy and hectic. And yeah, and there's, in the weaving industry in the 19th century, there were a lot of women and children working in it. But there were also a lot of women and children working in that too. And if you take somebody who's never been around something like that and you put them into that environment, it's going to be shocking. Okay, if you've never really encountered that, and I've never worked. I've been in a few. I've never worked on a factory floor in my entire life. I've taken a few factory tours. But, if you've never really sort of worked, and not all factories are going to be noisy like that, but, you bring them into a new environment. It's going to take a while for them to, whoever, women, men, doesn't matter, to get used to it. And a person's self-expectation on being able to handle this stuff, I definitely think women, particularly back then, would have that expectation that this is going to be a particular difficulty. Now, we also know, hey, ZZ, that particularly as part of the Manhattan Project, the atomic bomb, there were rather large machines, and they still exist, and they're still just sort of sitting in an old building where they were used out, in the countryside. Large machines that, because this was in a pre-computer world, Yeah, I know that there were a few, code breaking computers and things, but things weren't controlled by mechanical um, outputs. Yeah, from a computer, and so there needed a human operator to sit there and monitor keep the needles from going too far to the left or the right at the machines that were, um, oh, doing some of the separation for the plutonium or uranium or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But they found women were very good at sitting there for a fairly long period of time, intently monitoring this machine and making the adjustments. Much better than men. And some of this work, so this is sort of a concentrated, but not, it needed physical precision of handling the dials on this machine, but wasn't physically taxing in a hard sort of sense. Maybe in a concentrate, keep concentrating, and you get stiff muscles or whatever from doing it. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying it's not using muscle power to power something, to lift something, to move something. It wasn't a hard, lift to engage a thing. Women can be, on some of these tasks, found to, on average, be better than men. This isn't, slamming that women can't do whatever. This is, but it's when it's something new. So I can see some of this here. Stability, okay, so you're disrupting society, getting women out of their comfort zones. Political power gain, I don't know why you would necessarily take that hit. Production prevention, yeah. Consumer goods and factories, yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, we're going to do this because we want the increased recruitable population. And this is definitely what's going on. 41. Yeah, by now they're just starting really to get into this for Germany. By 44, basically, sometime in 1944, all young women in Germany and Britain. So this isn't just, and I'm, totalitarian versus freedom. This is in Britain and in Germany. We're basically being drafted. Understand this. All young women, basically. Now, there were outs. Children might be an out of a particularly young age, particularly in Germany, but also Britain. Young age of children. And so we're talking about young women. They're only going to have young children. You're not going to find a 20-year-old with a 10-year-old child. I mean, it's just biologically basically impossible. Don't at me at some weird case in there, but you know what I mean. So, they're going to have young. So those are. Now, it's not necessarily like in Germany and Britain that they're all going to be drafted in the army. No, they don't want them in the army. Not. They want some. They want them in like I said, the Women's Land Army, or working in a war-related factory. Whether it's dangerous kind of job, filling the explosives into the shells or something like that, or whether it's just making uniforms and boots and whatnot. They want them working. And so in both countries, so they're definitely being pushed to do something like that. But yeah, I think we so this 81,000. Okay, let's just interventionism, normal financial basic bonds, grants factory output. Yeah, we'll do basic bonds. We've just done that one. Okay, age bracket, 18 to 35. 18 to 40. Yeah, we'll do this. And now here again, I don't disagree. Because I very much contend that a significant element of the food shortages that the German Reich was being faced with was because of male labor being taken off of farms. I do not have good. I know for Britain, and this varies from country to country, but prior to the start of the war, a lot of the farms had become one of two things: meat farms, in which they're farming cattle. Farming and ranching are two different things, two different ways of doing it. But they're farming cattle, or they're doing sort of high-end things like vegetables. Because of the way the British Empire is set up, there were very real tariffs and trade blocks to bringing in cheap, non-British grains into Britain. But Canada is part of the empire, so they don't face that. So a lot of things that are easy to grow other places can be grown cheaper and shipped and got into Britain cheaper than it is to grow them into Britain, so that they were importing a lot of their grains. Now, they also still grew a lot of their grains, but the majority was being imported from somewhere in the British Empire. I really have to wonder, was someplace like Romania really importing a lot of their grains? I doubt it. But you do see, countries like France. There are, I think, hundreds of thousands of French prisoners of war that are languishing in prisoner of war camps. Young men. Some of them would be out on the farms. Okay? Poland. Their whole farming economy is completely disrupted. Completely disrupted. And so their farming output plummets in the former Polish territories, whether it's in the general government or in the more direct German-occupied, you're being integrated into Germany. Because this sort of line here, this is basically the general government, and that is sort of a special territory. The rest is, some of it, I don't know exactly the border, but some of it had been part of the German Empire, some of it had been maybe part of the Russian Empire, but is all to one degree or another being reintegrated as an internal part of the Reich and not just some sort of occupation. But even there, they are disrupting, including throwing Polish farmers off their land without a replacement farmer, or their replacement is somebody who isn't a farmer, has been given a farm. There is a program to try to get Germans to come and settle on former Polish territory that utterly fails. There is another program that particularly from Estonia and Latvia, the Germans, as in tens of thousands, maybe getting to 100,000+, are brought out, and a lot of them are settled in former Polish farms. And there definitely was a sort of middle-class German farming establishment up there. But the very large part of the Germans were mostly sort of urbanite and more technical type peoples that were not natural farmers. And so So they may be able to farm, but they don't farm nearly as efficiently, don't produce as much food. So Germany is suffering from a huge food shortage. And so yes, the more you pull men off the farm and get more recruitable population, I do see stability. I do see some of the other stuff going a bit wrong. So we will do that. So 18 to 40, expanded draft, foreign volunteers, average taxes. I don't know if that would overly help us. Protectionist economy, yes. High tariffs, okay, we have that. High investment, just looking through police state, that seems about right. State press, that's basically what's going on. Extensive training, seems good. High standards, yeah, it's training. Yeah, I think we will keep that. General mobilization we'd already done. Foreign investors regulated, that's basically key industries nationalized. I think is where we're going to keep that. And here, partial mobilization here. Weekly stability, which will push us down. I do think we should go to the war economy generally, but I'm just looking at civilian factories, all the other factory construction speeds going up, factory output. Do we have something here that recruitable population? I don't see. Okay, doesn't help recruitable, it doesn't seem. Not that it should. But, okay, now see, air tank and engine capacity per plant is improved. So, yes, we're going to do this. Now, it will take us a bunch of days to switch over, which seems about right. And this is things. And let me look at the chat. See here. Yeah, vehicles use a lot of wood, trucks, ships, planes. Absolutely, there's a lot of wood in there. Like Hoffmaner says, San Diegans with their rain as well. Yes, Hoffmaner, yes. San Diego has some of the best weather on the planet. It is right in that, 72 degrees, very little rain, but not really, it's humid enough that it isn't so dry. But yeah, San Diego's a really nice place. Already said hi. Okay. Hello, Von Hidson. How you doing? My great-grandmother worked on a man industrial line in Nuremberg. Really interesting there. That's cool. And hey, Wayne Rumble, how you doing? So yes. So yeah, we're going to see this. Okay, well, we have a lot of submarines. I know Arno asked, and we should probably be setting some of these up as a little bit smaller than 28, I think, to a group. These are all type 7s. Let's go with about 10. I think that's good. And we will form a new unit there. And let's have them convoy rate down here. Let's form a new unit here. Again, approximately 10. Like that. I want them their own fleets, doing their own things. Yeah, let's put them out. Convoy rating out here. And these guys we will also put there. And we'll put them out here into the mid-Atlantic gap. Oh, we have these have coastal submarines? What the hell? Oh, hell. Oh, hell. I didn't think, okay. Yeah. Well, never mind. We're gonna keep these guys in port because they're mostly coastal submarines. We'll wait till we get enough other and combine them out and send them out there. Yes, we will look at the naval battles. Arno wants to see some of the former naval battles. Okay, we took out a convoy up there. Took out 5 convoys there. 2 convoys there. Convoy there. Down here, convoy. Another convoy out there. We got rid of And who is this Iraq? Yeah, some sort of convoy there. And in the Mediterranean, any more out in the Atlantic? No. In the Mediterranean, we're helping with some air power. I'm going 3 convoys there. 3 convoys and an aircraft there. We lost 4 planes there. Got 15 convoys there. Again, we are helping with 41 bombers, and okay, the Italians lost a ship there. And there was also one action in which one destroyer and one heavy cruiser the British lost, and we lost our 4 bombers. But yeah, okay. So we are doing this. At the time, my great-great-grandfather was part of the Hitler Youth. He operated Panzer models at the end of the war. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, so everybody is definitely tied up in what's going on in the war. Okay, so I do want to quickly again look down here. So we have the 4th Panzer Division, so we don't want to withdraw the 4th Panzer Division. Well, what we're going to do here is what's our supply like? Well, what are our numbers of reserve or not yet used heavier planes? 16 naval bombers, 19 heavy fighters, light bombers, 19 medium bombers, 0. So we're getting shot up pretty bad. Okay. Well, first, let's see what we can create here. Junkers transports 28. These are the cargo type. Let's do this. 25. There we go. So they're going to come down. They're going to deploy down there. Down to there. We're going to move those for supply. Get those going for supply. Here's a 10th, some weird emblem. I think you asked that before here. No, that's the 7th. I don't know. Here, that's a buffalo. That's the division emblem. Yeah. So yeah, what? Okay, so the 4th, if we refit the 4th, we'll pull that out of Rommel's North Africa Command, and we don't want to do that. Okay, this is the 1st Lish Division. I think that's another Rommel unit here. Yes, so we don't want to upgrade that, because then again that will pull them out. The 5th Division. We're going to form the 12th. Hopefully that won't cause Rommel to lose any of his forces. Right. Well. Well, let's just select them. Get them all up here, and they're going by rail. Now, we have a fair amount of time. Obviously, we're still in 41, and we're not going up there till 42. But we might as well start sort of getting forces somewhat ready. Okay. Darian. We're going to send him up to here. Get some of these SS units.
Ausrücken! Achtung! Ausrücken!
Yeah, let's see. Why not try an airborne landing on Mala? I think you mean Malta. But, how would I do that? I don't have any airborne units. Oh, died 6 months ago. Oh, sorry to hear that. Make them then. Nowhere near. And so this is the thing here, and again, we're looking at the economy. Okay, we have a lot of cavalry equipment, but we need more cavalry equipment than you might expect once we stop making it. But we are going to go down to a single factory of cavalry equipment. Let's look at our radios. And this is something that very well may be, I mean, we're still not catching up on, well, vaguely catching up, but not really caught up yet on that. Okay, 20,000 radios. Okay, I think we're good with radios. Not good maybe for the whole game, but I'm not sure. Let's go down to 4 factories there. Handheld anti-tank. Now, part of what we've been doing has been making things that haven't been requiring rubber. So we may go back and switch some stuff back, but not just yet. Okay. Well, we have extra heavy guns. Some mortars. Now, trucks will be used for supplying troops in forward areas. Well, we're gonna get more aluminum, I think, once we let the clock even move. Because I know I've been blathering, but we have not even yet had the clock move forward. Okay, well, let's do that. Yes. Want to do that. How are we doing? You know, we have to just get rid of that. I don't blame Black Ice for that little bug. It's just the way it is, I think. Okay, so now we are positive on everything except for aluminium. Aluminum in American English. Synthetic rubber. Okay, well, we can And we have lots of bauxite, so let's do that. So that gets all of our construction material equipment needs. We sunk a British destroyer in a convoy. Include it there. Right. Okay. Let's attack here now. If we can take Alexandria, we'll get a port and a supply depot very far forward. Supplies here. We are putting supplies into there. It's helping us. These guys are out here. Operating trade mission. The Philippines? Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, Sherplunt has been finished researching. Okay, so we've got a 42 tactical ability there. Doing mobile armor. This will help our manpower. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, we can now build more things. Let's look at our radar. Let's put a radar there. Well, let's put a radar here. Well, there we go. That will help us out. And then, well, I think we're getting a bunch of engine factories because we did have a point of failure there. And we're going way down on our food. So, and increasing manpower, good. We're doing that well. Let's do some more industrial farms. And industrial farm. Food production in that state is plus 11. So I'm not exactly sure how big of a boost that is. Hey, William von Hudson, how you doing? Okay, well, our horses are already exhausting themselves, partially from lack of supply, I think. We just had a crash. I think it's that. Oh boy, that bug problem if we zoom in too much on British forces in North Africa. And I did not save any of that goddamn work. Yeah, the screen's coming back. God damn it. This has not been my day. First the audio problems, now this is back. Yep, no progress. All of the work that I just did, I have to redo now. Okay. What I'm going to do here is, and it seems to be with combat, so I'm going to try to crash this system again here. But those watching later on YouTube, I'm going to end this episode here. Come back next time for actually, hopefully, more exciting stuff. So thank you all. See you next time. Okay, what I'm going to do here now, people, is I'm going to make a short video that hopefully that will have another crash, and then I can send it to the Black Ice team to hopefully, if they haven't already, fix it. Not that it's going to help this playthrough, but fix it for others. Welcome, fellow Armchair Generals. Of course, this is Gamer1745, and this is going to be a special. It probably will not be released generally, but just specifically. And this is primarily directed at the Black Ice development team. I have been getting, and I don't know if anybody else have, multiple crashes when particularly zoomed in on North Africa and combat with the British here. So I don't know what it is. Had been getting some earlier over here, but I just had one here. So we're going to attack here, and we're going to stay zoomed in. We're going to see if we can have this happen. I'm presuming it's a graphical bug, because either if I don't look at this area, or I look at this area only from a high altitude, I don't get to crash. So maybe it will not behave for me and crash. Oh boy, that's like no crash. But sometimes this is very hard to replicate, or things are very hard to replicate, I know. So I was hoping that well, maybe I'll just have to take what I was looking at. There we go. We just had the crash. So, people there, it says an error has occurred in the application. Quite unexpected crash report has been generated. But that's going to send it off to Paradox, which won't help you guys. I wanted to just show you that I've been getting these, and like I say, these have only been happening when I'm zoomed in on North Africa and there's battles with the British. So either there's no battle going on, everything's fine, or if I'm way high altitude, I think high enough that you don't have the spawning in of the, I'm thinking it's the 3D models. When you don't have the 3D models, it doesn't seem to crash. So, I think it's a graphical error. Maybe you've already fixed it. Maybe not. I don't know. Just wanted to make this report because it's annoying. So, thank you. All right, cancel that. We're going to restart. How many days until you make the Tiger 2 tank? Well, the Tiger tank. Well, maybe we won't make the Tiger tank because somebody keeps bothering me about it. Why would we want the Tiger tank anyways? Okay, now we're going to redo all the stuff. We're going to not be zoomed in on North Africa once we get going. Oh, that's funny. Well, glad somebody thinks it's funny. I don't know, Arno. How many days? And I know you want me to look it up, but I got an hour of work, well, half an hour of work to do here just to catch back up, and everybody's watching, and we don't want to... Okay, let's see. Domestic minister. We've lost him because he flew off. Recruitable monthly population max. Okay. Postmaster General. Naval base. Minister of Innovation, Production Efficiency, Research, Speed. Minister of Trade and Exports. Yeah, we get more food extraction here, so we'll give that. Now, of course, Walter Daray, who was something of a farming person, but Walter Daray was somebody that would reduce food production. He was very, very much into let's see, what's the recruitable? Yeah, recruitable population slightly more, but we'll just do that. War economy. I go to Panther. Tiger's not good enough to make a difference. Well, I don't know, and it's really just Arno ask. Arno's a great guy, but asking right when I'm going, I got to redo all of the work that I just did. Figuring all this stuff out, going through all of this is just making me want to. Okay, let's. We didn't do this before, but let's see about doing this now. Remove that. Let's come here and do medium tank. Medium tank. We've got, what do we got here? Headquarters detachment, reconnaissance motorcycle, engineer, company maintenance, logistics, field hospital. Okay, yeah, let's, oh no, okay, let's close this off. What I should have done was done duplicate and save that. Here now, copy. Now we're going to come in here and remove one battalion. The other battalion and the other battalion go to medium. Yeah, there we go. Now we're going to save that. Now this is what we're going to add one to the, and we're going to put it out here sort of in the east. Go up there. That's where we're going to want to do it. Yes, well, we know you're evil too. I mean, he's sort of a good evil guy. Okay, so, and we need to come over here. We're going to reduce that down. Reduce this down. We're going to reduce this down. And we just reduce that down. Okay, it's going to be a little different than what we did last time. I'm going to Increase one more there for trains. We're also going to wait here, yes. Okay, 2 factories for aluminum. We'll start getting bauxite coming. Well, I don't know what. See about that in a moment. Oh, we'll wait a bit. Now more fighters. Max out the fighters there. What else? Okay, we also want to send the 7th Panzer Division down to here.
Angetreten.
Select all and send you guys out to here. You select all. Send you up to here. Let's get the Bulgarians force, send them north. Need to build up another Panzer force.
Ausrücken. Bereit. Ausrücken.
Get that going. Not that one, not that one. One there. Get that reorganization going. Hello, Original Twitch. Yes, this is highly modded. This is, we're playing the Black Ice mod for Hoi 4, which highly mods the game.
Ausrücken. Ausrücken.
Okay, Leap Dundar to SS Adolf Hitler. So this is going to be much more medium assault guns. Okay.
Ausrücken.
Send you east. Polizei SS turned into now the SS Polizei Division. Okay, still very infantry oriented.
Ausrücken.
I'm going to save this before I even go on anymore. Some things I don't have to redo this. I'm not sure. I don't need any of the old stuff, I guess, Arno.
Angetreten.
As in, I think I may need it all. We need a transport unit. And do we have enough long-range fighters? Some fighters. Okay, we're going to create a long-range fighter unit too there. A little under strength. Okay. And we're going to come over here. And, okay, we got 6 of those. So what we're going to do here is slightly different than last time. We're going to split. And we're going to grab 11 here. And like this. And go. And these guys are going to come down to here in convoy raid. And we're going to do this again with just all submarines. So get us that. Oh, and this force, do we not? We're going to do. Yes, we already did that. Okay. These guys are going to come out here into the central. What in the hell? Well, I think that's, we're exporting something to Mexico or whatever. Yeah, or Britain is, or something. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. We're going to come out to here on convoy raid. Now we're going to come from, stay at a high level, but we have saved. Well, let's see if we can organize ourselves up a little more. Refit those divisions. All right. They're still deploying in. And, oh, that's right, we also did some radar construction. One on the east here. And well, let's do that. Let's also do the farms that we did. Okay. Okay, let's look back at resources. What are we missing for resources? There we go. We should have enough, yeah, aluminum now. Okay, so let's save this again. And we'll start making another episode. Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing look at Black Ice for Hearts of Iron 4, a mod that has very significantly modded Hearts of Iron. And in some ways it's doing a great job, in some ways not so much. So we're looking at it, we're examining it. That's what we're doing for this playthrough, mostly the economy, which are, to me, the big significant changes. I do want to thank Tim, Strongarm, Niagro, Timothy, Sir Toyjet, Gary, Garrett, Marcus, Folk, and of course the great Hoffmanator for support over on Patreon. But everybody, what I just really ask you to do is hit the like button, lick it if you like, and subscribe if you're new. And it also really helps the algorithm if you post a comment, so you can just say hi or something like that. That would be very helpful if you could do that. Thank you. Okay. Getting these guys set up here. I know we're looking at just hours, but as the clock goes on. There we go, standing by. So all of these guys. One very understrength fighter group, another. We're going to come down here. I'm going to look at these guys here. Eastern Mediterranean, they're going after aircraft, and these guys are going after aircraft. so. Sure plunk. Okay. This will help with our manpower. That we don't take as many losses. Okay, we have been embargoed by the Union, so... We don't have the German social agreements, but this should not be happening, people. Not that we were doing any trading necessarily with them, I don't know, but... I mean, how hard is it to do something historical? Yeah, I know it's after a certain date, and you're going, oh, well, historically, Gamer, they'd already gone to war. Yeah, but we haven't. So why would the Soviets do this? It doesn't make sense. It really, really doesn't. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, let's go over to this one. Kick in another 5 days. I mean, if their setup is so fragile, I don't know.
Ausrücken! Ausrücken! Angetreten! Achtung! Ausrücken! 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 Befehle! Ausrücken! 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 Angetreten! Ausrücken!
I don't know, people.
Angetreten!
What should I expect?
Ausrücken!
What should I expect?
Bereit! Achtung! Achtung! Ausrücken!
Okay.
Angetreten!
Handle the additional troops.
Bereit! Ausrücken! Ausrücken! Bereit!
Some of the ones that are a little further away, I'm putting on trains and moving that way.
Ausrücken!
And we have one more division that we'll send to here. And that.
Achtung! Bereit!
What's his skill up? Where it is? See his stats. Yeah, I guess that's all right.
Achtung! Bereit! Ausrücken! Ausrücken! Ausrücken!
There we go.
Bereit!
His force, so we will move that up to here.
Ausrücken!
Okay.
Achtung! Bereit! Bereit! Ausrücken! Bereit! Angetreten! Angetreten! Ausrücken! 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 Angetreten!
I'll come up that way. That is good. Now, yeah, I do know we're not going in soon. Okay. Have we made it down here yet? No, he's still on the... still on the move, but we're going to give him to Rommel. 7th Panzer Division. Wow. Okay, well... New command. Von Manstein is going to get this because we took Von Manstein's command away from him to give it to Rommel. He's going to come up there. Him. Oh. Okay, so let's select all. Go like that. Rostdeutschland. Let's give that to Guderian. Where's Guderian's division? There. Okay, yeah, we're gonna move. Select all. We're gonna move you up to here. All right. Well, okay, we have the 8th Panzer Division. What does that look like? Fair. Read another force here. Weppenberg sounds like a good one.
Ausrücken!
Send him off there. There we go. Authority, Peru, whatever. I think we're calling up. I don't see, and maybe somebody, yeah, there's some factories, but the amount of garrison equipment I'm going to need to put into it, I don't see a good reason right now to go to war with Norway. Please explain to me one if you can. Other than history. But yeah, that's a reason. whether that's a good reason or not. Okay, we can build. Okay. Well, I guess we're getting ready to lose too much food, so we're just going to continue to get some more farms. Because we need more resources. What more resources do we need? I don't see that. Because we're all green up here, except for maybe food. Okay, well. Okay, we'll buy some from Vichy, France. Okay, these guys are on standby, so they're going to come up here and they're going to go after fighters. These guys are going to put up, maybe put them, yes. Guys are going to come over here and go after fighters, and these guys are going to where, okay, they're supply to there. Again, we're going to save this. What do casualties look like? Okay, yeah, we'll do that in just a moment. We're at war. Okay, so we've had 300,000, well, 346,000. And Italy have had 1,000,000.3. We can see Belgium, Netherlands, 200,000 for Poland, Yugoslavia, United Kingdom, 900,000, 60,000 for Canada. Seems awfully high for Canada. 45,000 for South Africa. I don't think they had 45,000 troops in World War II. But yeah, okay, that's. Let's look at Rommel's forces. Basic artillery factories. Well, let's attack. We're going to keep zoomed out to hopefully not crash. Okay, well, I forget what. Oh, it was artillery. I think we just had. Military production 2, base stability, factory output. The one we want to do the most. Well, we could come up here. Division attrition, civilian factory. Recruitable population up 0.1%. 92 days. This would be the same once we got that. Don't know if it's worth it. I just don't know if it's worth it. Not saying it's not worth it, just don't know. We're having interesting food conditions. Okay, we're researching that. Management, 41 antibiotics, monthly population 7% for 115 days. That sounds like a good one. I crash.
Angetreten.
Don't want to crash. There we go. And we crashed. Oh, restarting. At least we saved not so long before. Okay, we're going to wait till we get the 7th Panzer Division down there. We're going to be very careful with that. How long can Gamer play until it crashes? Okay, well, we're not yet attacking, so we're not going to attack. I do want to see, okay, organization levels. Right. Yeah, we're going to keep supplying down there.
Angetreten.
You come to here. So you're only in this C zone. They lost a convoy. 6 convoys. So hopefully there's not a big... I see a battle over there with Italian battleship. Hopefully we can get across the ocean without losses. What? Oh. Doing... BC France, right. That looks like we're now improving our food. Factories here, we decided to come and do antibiotics. Oh, aluminum. Well, now we're here. Oh, you need to go join Rommel's group.
Ausrücken.
Now, well, that went down. That's going back up. So I don't know why it went down and just back up. I don't know. Could you turn off the third icons you get until you get to 3D icons turn off? Can we use NATO symbols? No, it can be done, but can it be done in the middle of the... Use NATO symbols, pause notifications. Can it be done in the middle of the game, or... Do you know how to turn it off from Wayne Rumble, or somebody can like quickly post it there so I don't have to figure it out. So I'm just not. It's something that I just haven't looked at. So I know it can be done. I vaguely remember doing it as an experiment a long time ago, but I don't really remember. One of those things you normally don't need to touch too much. A new fighter is just what we need. It isn't a bad idea. Let's do better heavy fighters. And yes, new fighters. Yeah, I think we will do it now. Where are we? Here we are. We don't have enough fighter production capacity. Okay. That's why we're getting this. Okay. Fighters to have the highest priority. What aircraft do we want to have the lowest priority? Transports. Yeah. Well, condors are helping us control the sea, so I don't know. Yeah. It very nice. I know so little about farming. I don't know if that was something that was new in the 1930s or something that was common, but will industrial farm construction speed up 10%? Well, that's nice to go faster. Oil storage, okay. Liquefaction, synthetic fuel, need fuel, yeah, energy need. Yeah, we'll do that. Construct. Well, do we do a construction? We're doing the underground factories, so that's sort of early. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, we're doing this here, which will get us 8 more military factories, which is what sort of pushed me for that. Aircraft, expand aircraft. Okay, aircraft assembly plants. That would get us 42 days. It will get us 12 aircraft assembly plants. Not that that would be enough, but it might be enough. So we're going to do that next. Okay, save button, game options, third unit. Okay, then apply. Yeah. Game options. Last notification, cooperation. Back. Disability, is this what you mean? I don't. Video, no, borderless high. Okay, 3D units. There we are. And then apply. Okay, well, that may help it. Okay, thank you. When we get ready for the offensive, we will see about doing that. Okay, and it looks like we are not yet ready yet. They're coming up. Oh, it did. We've got rid of the 3D units. No big tall guy standing around. Recon company, very nice. Okay. Yeah, hi Raga. Well, I don't know. Hi Raga. Yeah, what we've been having a problem of the game crashing. So, having 3D units or not having 3D units for liking things is not the issue. It's will game crash, won't game crash, is what we're trying to solve. Or was this just a general sort of like statement? I like ice cream. Could have been something like that, I guess. We're going to move him to here so that we get weapon to there. Well, we're having some in North Africa, and I'm not sure at all why. Okay, SS Cavalry Brigade. What does this look like now? It's equipment. Motorcycles. Okay. Yeah, we'll give them to Schwappenberg. So he has a little more force there. Oh. What do we still have down here? Okay, we have Ritter von Thoma's bit, which is 2 motorized and 2 infantry that are very elite or somewhat elite or whatever. So, okay, you did. Interesting. For me, it immediately turned it off. Okay, no more aircraft because we are running out of aircraft factory capabilities. What else do we build? More medium panzers, I think. That's the panzer types as it is. Okay, what are we building here? I want to see. Because sometimes we're making A's. Oh no. We should have been. See, I need to pay closer attention to some of the stuff. I'm sort of waiting for the big. Oh no, I didn't do that right. Let's close this. Waiting for the big obsolete sign. This thing coming over it. But the way they've organized their game or their thing, I guess it didn't. So we've been producing Panzer A's way too long. F's, I think we got that fairly well up. Panzer 4 F's, yes. Those are sort of the correct ones. Do we have something that we should be enabling? I think it might be the term. Clicking on it be another term. Okay, those are good. Okay, so we've been producing bad panzers for quite some time. Well, You know, these wasps. I think I'm going to turn these Panzer ones also into J's. That's going to hit those over there. They're going to switch over to J's as well. So we have 2 lines of J's. Oh, we need more, because now we have a high velocity gun. We need more tungsten. Oh, goody. Tungsten. Yes, let's pick this up from Sweden. There we go. Okay, we are here. Okay, I'm going to save. We're going to do another attack down in North Africa. Now, for a while, we weren't getting that crash. It was just happening over here, but some of the other battles... oh, you were... Okay. Okay, you come up to the... These guys are hovering at that rate. So what we're going to do is get all of these guys. We're going to attack here. Which will force... Because I'm pretty sure this has infrastructure here enough that we can go there. Yes, they're counterattacking, but we are bringing in reinforcements. Okay, now. Still sort of hanging off here. Yeah, that might be the smart thing for them to do, but the Italians are pushing there. Looks like basic fighter factories. Very good. Okay, good. That's helpful. That was this one. Looking to see if there's... Reinforce, okay. Thought there was something I wanted to do. I don't know. But let's go back here. I think we'll do this. Well, we can build more submarines. All right. Let's actually build more transports. We have here, those are convoys, logistics, maybe trucks, trains, stockpile. So we don't have a lot of extra trains. So, and we're gonna be pushing further into east. So let's do that. Don't want to do more. So we've got a lot of, and we're actually building up food. So we got a lot of food coming. So I don't think we want to do more food. We're going to do an event that'll give us more aircraft assembly plants, but I think we could still do another aircraft assembly plant. And we could also do another engine factory, I think, to deal with possible. You activated trucks at City Barani. No, I have not, and that may be something I should have done. You're absolutely right. Okay. That is what I should have done. You're absolutely right. Thank you, Wayne. Okay, these guys are being pushed back. They're coming forward. Let's move it. Motorized division there. These two divisions can move up as well. Oh, hell. Have they done that? Yeah, I do see sort of a ghost image there. Okay, we've got to push everything back to there. The Italians are going to have a problem. Okay, underground factories. Nice, that'll give us a bunch more, but we're going to expand aircraft factories. We also put, did we, okay, we want to do this down here. Get some radar down. Looking in the Mediterranean to help us out there. Enough that it will keep producing through. Okay. Oh, well, now, for whatever reason, we've got, oh, well, I don't know what, don't know why we just got more aircraft factories, because we just started doing that national focus. More, oh, how did we get, oh, we got a bunch more. That's right. With that one event. And since we have one more rubber, okay, no, this doesn't use, for some reason this doesn't use rubber. Okay, yeah, I see that. There we go. Yeah, we are doing a bit better than historical Rommel, but we've not gone into the Soviet Union yet, so that does sort of counterbalance things out a little bit.
Achtung! Ausrücken! Ausrücken!
And for recruiting and deploying, those other 3 divisions will be coming soon.
Befehle?
Looks like the Italians, no, did not hold. The Italians did not hold. Well, there goes Rommel. Bye, Rommel. I'm going back to a save. I'm not going to keep playing this. I'm not going to keep playing this. Oh, but gamer. See if you can fight your way out. Yeah. Either game over and I quit because, yeah, or I go back to a save. Oh, man. The Italians, yeah. Oh, goody. I think this is before I push too deep in here. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Right. Well, we're going to attack with those 3 divisions and this division down here. Oh, and we are also going to come over to supply, and we're going to truck supply here, which we should have been doing from the beginning. Yep. Okay. Well, now, which division? Yes, the 7th will move forward, and the light division, and we'll also move the 10th up to here. Oh, the British have. Oh, we still have Diedel's forces down here. Well, they're getting our force unencrypted. Whatever. No, 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 no. I don't want you to go there. I wanted you to join that force's command there. Okay. Since we're making the decision not to go into the north, we're going to send off these forces where are there. Okay. Well, underground factories again, right? Radar. Um, aircraft. Engine factory. What did we do last time? We are producing J's. Good. That. You need more aluminum. Yeah, yeah. And I think we decided to do just another line for that. Well, let's see here. Bind iron, fast binder, no. No,
Bereit.
not so much. Rommel.
Angetreten.
Let's see what we could give him as a commander. Combined arms trickster improved. Do that too. Okay, Rommel is improved as a commander.
Bereit.
Very good. Now they're attacking up here, so we're going to join their attack. We're doing better with supplies. We're also going to... No. Just support that attack there. Basic fighter factories. Now, oh, that's why. Yeah, that's why we got more. Fighter factories there. Okay. I think we went and did this last time. I'm going to save this just in case. Whether I fuck up and trust the Italians too much, or...
Bereit. Angetreten.
Why doesn't he have any more? Oh, well, why weren't those divisions involved in this? I don't know. They're getting pushed back. They're holding there. Okay, underground factories this time. And now we're going to go to or expand the aircraft. Back up to here. Let's see, I don't know. Just sort of kind of trying to do some cool things like, well, I don't know if we need those half tracks. I think we could use some more of these, some of these, brains, but also because we're using them, some heavy transport trucks. There we go. And we could use we go. Hello, Starstreak. How you doing? Can't remember models, Star Wars figures, books, other crap. Back. Oh, you're back down in Blenheim. Bought it. Oh, cool. Reading up here. Brought my car over on the ferry to pick up boxes I left 23 years ago. Cool. Cool. Good you got a car and you guess you got a place, I hope. Cool. Starstreak, I hope things are going well for you. I really am. Hoping they are. Okay, well, hopefully we're not going to crash. Hopefully with this now as trucks. Now I could go to like super trucks, but Well, let's do that. Let's do that. I think we can just push in to make sure that we are supplied up as much as possible here. And we're going to get pushed back here, but I don't think we're going to get Rommel cut off. We're going to get these guys up to full strength and maybe push straight out of City Barani. We get a nice suburb. Well, good. I guess they may still have those in New Zealand. They still have them here in lots of places, but watching some stuff in Britain and how bad it's getting in their direction of their going. Just about ready to launch into some rant, but I probably keep from doing that. Okay. Yeah, Stug sound cool. We're building up food now. Okay, well, this is an interesting development. Japan just declared war on everybody on December 8th, which is when Japan declared war. Why do we say December 7th? The date line, because it was 7th, December 7th in Hawaii, and because Hawaii is on this side of the date line, and the rest of the United States. It was December 8th in Japan, and I think maybe already the 8th in Europe. So yes, that triggered on the historical date. Looks like they've triggered some invasions. Now, I would say that this completely matches what would be logical historical behavior. I was complaining about earlier today, had a bit of a glitch on the Soviet Union embargoing Germany. I know it was in like October here or whatever, but in 41, that's, but we're continuing the German-Soviet peace, which I would say Soviet Union would not be embargoing Germany or anything like that. China here, or Japan with China, or in China here, we have the situation where Japan just cannot win against China. I would say they're probably doing better than historical, but I'm not absolutely sure of how you want to measure that metric. And I've often said this, Japan expects a short war. I think to a point, people, maybe help me out here. Yes, the mighty Japanese octopus spreading its tentacles. Absolutely starstreak. Help me out here. You're in a war with China. You've deployed a lot of your forces. Not all of your forces, obviously, because, hey, they were able to invade the Philippines, invade Malaya in divisional scale fighting very rapidly. They were able to push into Burma very rapidly. Now, they very well Well, I know for the invasion of the Philippines, because I've actually looked into this 6 months or more ago, but a lot of the divisions came from Taiwan, and it was very interesting looking at this. That you know, and right now, Taiwan slash Formosa, whatever you want to call this, a lot of the troops were Taiwanese. Okay, and I would call it from looking at the stuff, which are they're speaking Chinese to some degree. Because the language of down here, but seems to be more integrated than Korea. Though of course we know of the one famous Korean guy who is drafted into the Chinese. I mean, yeah, sorry, not Chinese. Into the Japanese army, is captured up in Khalkhin by the Soviets, spends some time in a Soviet, gulag, and then gets transferred as part of a, whether he volunteers or whatever, um, forced to fight the Germans. The Germans capture him. He then joins up with the Germans, and then the British capture him after D-Day. So, yeah, now that's sort of a remarkable one-off or very, very few off that has that colorful of a history. But including officers, it seems to be. So it seems to be down here in Taiwan at this time. I'm going to call them second-class citizens. They're not Japanese. Now, if you want to go that there's classes within Japan, well, very well may be. Obviously, there are classes. No, they're very significant social classes. But those may be more social classes than classes of citizenship, if you know what I mean. But maybe, because I think all males, they didn't vote, women didn't vote. But I think for when they were voting for elections, I think all males voted. But maybe there was property or other sort of things. We're not talking to, obviously there are elites, but I would call them second-class citizens in that they seem to have had a fair amount of citizenship rights, and not just boot on your neck, occupied peoples, And so a lot of these divisions coming into the Philippines actually were significantly, maybe even majority Taiwanese divisions. The ones coming from Taiwan. They also brought some divisions from other places, but they brought a bunch here. So a lot of the reserves, or a lot of units that hadn't, not reserves as in like necessary part-time or whatever, but a lot of the units that were held in reserve were brought out for this invasion, as well as some units that had been fighting in China and were in rather bad shape and had been withdrawn and re-equipped, So veteran forces that were sort of in the rear area to get, new equipment and replacements and that kind of thing, that were sent down into Malaya and the Philippines and down into Dutch East Indies. The forces that really show up down here, some of them are, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but are actually a little bit later staged in that they are, forces from the battles in the Philippines sent down for further operations down into the Solomons and whatnot. Because you've got to remember we already see, okay, these are still in, but we see here, state owner, isn't this, like, there's a Japanese unit here, I think, and a Japanese unit here. Yeah. Down here in Guadalcanal, that's a fight with the Americans. That's in 42, and fairly later in 42. Like I'm thinking spring. I'm not good on the date, and they were doing some. So this is a little bit jumping fast, I think, but definitely up here. So help me out. You've got a war in China that you know that you have, let's even say 20 more divisions sitting around that are useful divisions, not fortification divisions or, factory workers that are trained, go on the weekends and, play soldier to like, reserve forces that, hey, if, you're invaded or something, or civil disorders or something, you can call out the troops temporarily, but they've got important day jobs, working, well, maybe being a farmer, maybe being, a munitions worker or whatever. They got important day jobs, but they're sort of reserve forces. We're not talking about those guys. We're talking about guys that are full-time military soldiers and full-time military units that just aren't up at the front. And the very realization that throwing in 20 more divisions in China overall isn't going to bring about a quick victory. And I think that's very much their estimation. And they're looking at it that there's two major resources that they just can't keep up with. One is steel, and the other is oil. And you're being choked off from buying them in other places, particularly, both of these things. Now, I'm sure there's also some other critical components that they're being choked off of, but those are the two big scale situations. And so their operations, whether it's trucks driving around or aircraft flying around or whatever, more oil is needed for that. And steel, whether for machine guns or for bombs or for ships or for whatever, railway engines, that if you continue this way, you see your stockpiles dwindle. So the 20 divisions, now 20 divisions on the front line, maybe over 3 years, fighting this battle, that battle, destroying these, making progress might be useful, but over those 3 years, you're out of oil and you're out of steel. So you see this as an unwinnable solution against China. Now, I don't know how much necessarily the steel situation would be changed. Definitely a oil situation, immediate change, because you have basically in Borneo, some along here, some up over here, you have significant amounts of oil. Enough oil to keep Japan running. There's also fairly large amounts of oil up here in Burma that they can get to. So almost immediately, yeah, there are certain levels of sabotage, but even the Burmese oil is mostly all put back into use after, a few months. And basically all of the Dutch and British oil is put back, there's repairs done and it's flowing. Maybe not 100% of what it was before, but pretty damn good. So enough to keep Japan operating. The only reason Japan really has problems as the war goes on with oil is a lack of tankers and, submarines sinking, that kind of stuff. I'm not saying they have an overabundance. I'm saying enough. To the point that, the oil coming out of Balikpapan is really it's sort of light, sweet crude oil, meaning there's not a lot of contaminants in it. And the big Japanese ships, the big ones, are steam-driven. So meaning that you use oil, you burn oil to make heat, and then you turn turbine, not old, railway, chug, 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 but turbine steam engines. So you can burn the oil straight out of the ground. And it works reasonably well. All it is, it's dirtier than what you would refine it normally out for fuel oil for ships. So that you have to clean your engines out to the, then that in the sense that you have to shut down the boilers, because, it's in the, the firebox part. Shut all that down and obviously let it get cool and send people into these are big things into scrape and clean that off and ungunk it once in a while. It probably varies from difference on destroyers versus carriers, how often you have to do it, but you have to do it at some point. So Japan moves at one stage, probably 43, 44, something, while the Philippines have yet been taken. They move the bulk of the fleet away from Truk, where the Truk is out here. It's Yap. Truk is one of these. Strongarm probably knows, but I think it's out. One of these. Oh yeah, here, Truk. Move it away from Truk, because this sort of had been their sort of big naval base. It's sort of a nice natural harbor and whatnot. And as you can see from these islands, it's a, good reaction. You want to come down and support the Solomons. You want to support an attack on Hawaii. You want to cut off the supply links from the U.S./Hawaii to the, Philippines and New Zealand. You're all sort of good strategic here. But you've got to either bring the oil from Balikpapan and dirty, or you've got to get it refined somewhere else and bring it there. So they moved the fleet, a good bulk of the fleet, for a while, because there's the source of oil and you don't have to transport it anywhere to keep it going. And that way, there are limited amount of ships, because you can, though it's not very efficient, to put oil into 50-gallon drums and put them on a cargo ship and move the cargo ship, but it's most efficient, obviously, in a tanker. And so, and they're losing the tankers, particularly out here more so than here earlier. So having the fleet back here is keeping it supplied. So they the big problem for Japan and its oil is the transportation of it. Now, to get the Japanese Navy to agree to go to war with the U.S., because Japanese government is hugely fractured, meaning even to a point, because we can see some sort of various rebellions at a time, even to a point, an order from the emperor might not get the Navy to do something. The Navy is sort of operating as its own independent thing. Coming up in 41, you have the guy who's in charge of the Kempitai. The Kempitai is sort of the military police. The guy in charge of the Kempitai up in Manchukuo and Korea and this kind of area takes over the Japanese government. Tojo. He was the head policeman for the military up in this region. He becomes the Prime Minister of Japan, and he maintains also, I think it's 3 different ministries that he's officially in charge of, but he has puppet guys sort of running it, but he's the head of the ministry. So one of them being the military or the army. So the Navy's so independent that they bribe the Navy with increased steel allotments to continue the naval building program, because there's just not enough steel. Now, I contend, well, that U.S. basically forced Japan into the war, and this is sort of what we're talking about. I contend that Japan thought, because of its experience with Russia, thought it could have a short war, and if victorious, I really think they would have retreated out of places like the Philippines, not Borneo, maybe out of places like Singapore, but I think they would have required opening up trade for steel as well, because I don't see any of their attacks down here doing, and we can look at where's resources here. Get the resource map here. Okay, some tungsten is down here. Okay, yeah, there's some steel. I'm not saying there aren't iron mines, because iron is part of the issue. A lot of tungsten. Now, tungsten can just mean sort of rare stuff. But yeah, not a lot. I didn't expect to find much down in this part of the world. Aluminum or alumina. They've got to turn it into aluminum. But yeah, it should be bauxite here, so I don't know. You're going to get much more steel up here. So this isn't so much a power grab down here directly for. Okay, well, what is that? Is that iron? Okay, so there's some iron down here. Yeah, okay, there's some iron down here too. Okay, maybe a bit more than I'm thinking, but still, my point still holds that they want to get down here to fight in this war. Now, as Rhaegar says, U.S. forces Japan into the war. Why? Why? Why can't you make the rational decision that the war is unwinnable against China? Because I would contend that not being choked for steel and oil, if they had a reasonable amount of it, I'm not saying endless amounts, but a reasonable amount of it, because again, Japanese industry is only so strong. It's not just a steel limitation. And yes, you can, with more steel, build more industry, but Japan just does not have the population to occupy China. It just doesn't have it. And can you not rationalize, go, okay, and Japan tries and wants to negotiate a peace with China. They just sort of kind of want, when they start the bridge incident up here, they just want a chunk of northern China, maybe down to this peninsula, some sort of chunk of China, and then have another peace, and then spend 10, 20 years integrating it, and then probably take another bite of China. That's what they want to have happen at the start of or at least, and it started by the guys up in Manchuria, not the guys back in Tokyo. Tokyo did not say, oh, we want to go to war with China. It's the guys out here. Remember, it's the head of the secret police from here that takes over the Japanese government. It's actually, because there's sort of two Japanese armies running at the same time. There's the army in Japan, and there's the Japanese army occupying sort of Korea and Manchukuo. And it's the Manchukuo, and particularly that pushes into going into China locally. But eventually they end up taking over all of the Japanese army apparatus. So, but can't the nation, and it could just be, yeah, these guys back here know that this is unwinnable, but they don't have control over these people. It could just be that it's too fractured of a government, and that may be the solution. But, maybe it just comes down to, if you're a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Hello, Jamuska. How you doing? U.S. basically for, yeah, it's interesting how much Russo-Japanese war matched what they hoped would happen to the U.S. versus Port Arthur, Pearl Harbor. Absolutely, ZZ. One U.S. attaché said Japan didn't plan the bridge incident, and Japan was caught unprepared. The letter took 30 days to arrive in the U.S. Yes. Tokyo. Yeah, I am firmly of the belief that the Army, the political government, and the Navy back in Japan did not know that forget the bridge name. But that the Marco Polo, that's it, the Marco Polo bridge incident. That it was not planned by them, but it was planned as a problem. Yeah, Marco. Yeah, it was planned by the. It wasn't just an accident that happened that you can maybe apologize. No, it was planned by the guys here. They wanted a reason to go in, and they went in, and then, at first they were doing pretty damn well. It wasn't that there was an incident and then they got their butts kicked and then, well, no, they went in and did pretty damn well. It's just by the time they were starting to get their big chunk of China, Chiang Kai-shek was unwilling to negotiate. So I would say it's more like China forces Japan into the war with the U.S. And I will contend until my dying day that no nation has any responsibility to trade with another nation. For whatever reason, whether it's internal behaviors or external behaviors of that nation, or just, hey, we don't want our semiconductors going to some other nation. Well, we had to attack you because you wouldn't give us semiconductors to computerize our nation. No. You don't have to trade with anybody. And yes, if you have friends or dependents or whatever you want to call modern day Taiwan, you can, for continuing to be good friends and or dependents that continue to get your weapons, you can make requirements of them, like don't give, sell, whatever. Try to stop as much as possible. Obviously, there's can still smuggle something, but try to stop sending certain technologies to some other country. That's because that is a friendly relationship there. And that if this country wants to say, F you, we're going to do our own thing, you go, well, okay, well, we're not going to sell you any arms. Again, we don't have to sell anybody's arms. No one, in my understanding, is saying that, well, we're going to put ships off of Taiwan to keep them from exporting whatever to whoever. No, it's just you want to continue good friendship. Don't, your tech companies don't increase your tech investment or, in mainland China, and don't send more finished products over to mainland China. And if you say that, well, that forces China into a war, so otherwise it couldn't keep up with the modernization of China, which is sort of what Ragar might say, that U.S. forces China to invade Taiwan to get semiconductors because the U.S. forced Taiwan to stop selling at least high-end semiconductors to China. And that forces China to do something. Well, I'm going to say bullshit on that. That's my opinion. You do not have to do that. Not even talking, but respecting treaties that both agreed upon. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the Taiwanese government wants to do, but I am sure that there are businesses in Taiwan that would like to keep selling high-end tech stuff to China. And I'm sure that there are businesses in the Netherlands that would like to sell high-end chip manufacturing stuff to China because money is what they're there for. Maybe some of the people that own those companies that I just referred to might not like communism or might not like the current Chinese government to just decide not to sell to China, but on their own. But it's more of been a government requirement not to. And the U.S. government has told them not to, and there was at first a little bit of pushback, and then I think the U.S. government had a quiet word with them as to what might happen if they don't, and they stopped. For my understanding, basically stopped. And so, yes, it is U.S. pressure. But either in the Dutch case or in the Taiwanese case, I don't think it's... I mean, maybe it's like, hey, well, we'll stop trading with you, or we'll stop giving you arms, or there may be some other consequences. But again, it's not, if the U.S. is giving foreign aid to a country, and the U.S. wants to stop it, well, fine. The U.S. is not required, or any nation is not required to give foreign aid or to trade with anybody else as And if then you get attacked because you and your friends stop trading with somebody, you're not forcing them into attacking because, unless Ragar, you really seriously want to propose that Japan, the leaders sat around and go, guys, we're really fucked. Yeah, we're fucked. Yeah, we're so effing fucked. What do we do? Okay, guys, you know what we do? We attack the United States. We got to make it look good. We got to make sure our people, think we actually try to fight. So we're going to have some casualties. But ultimately, what we want to do is lose the war. So once we lose the war, America will take us over and unfuck us. Yeah. Okay, yes. Hitler just started World War II because he was hoping the U.S. would take over Germany and unfuck Germany. That, that's how I, forcing, I'm not buying, not agreeing to it. Now, yes, from the Japanese perspective, that the U.S. and Britain were unhappy with Japanese behavior in China, so that both nations, particularly, stopped trading with Japan and gave aid and comfort to their enemy, China. Supplies through, Indochina until they take over Indochina. The Burma Road is opened up before Japan and the U.S. are at war, or Japan and Britain are at war. So they're sending supplies through there. America, sends aircraft and volunteers to fly fighters. Yeah. But and you go, oh, there's an American pilot, an American-made aircraft flying out of somewhere in China. Well, we're at war with you. Well, okay. But, and you could have that response. But that's not what got them to fight in the war. Let me read. Initially, government made an agreement that stopped the war in the beginning. China scolded Chinese officers for defending themselves. Japanese accepted the apology. Then Central Chinese government blocked the agreement. Yes. Yeah, Chiang Kai-shek describes the war with Japan as a disease of the skin, and the war with the communists as like a disease of the internal body or whatever. And he thought that no matter what, China was going to survive this war. So if he just didn't say, uncle and tap, peace out kind of thing, Japan would collapse. Sort of like what we're seeing in Ukraine today by the West. They think they can bleed Russia dry. And the U.S. want Taiwan to stop producing chips and blow up their factories themselves, transfer industry to the U.S. U.S. would love to get Taiwanese market share. Well, no one in the U.S. government thinks that is going... No, they don't think that way, Ragar. No one thinks they're going to blow up or dismantle Taiwan's chip manufacturing and bring it to the United States. What they might do is, if China invades Taiwan, those factories may blow up. Yes. If there's an invasion. The U.S., nobody in the U.S. government, I'm not saying there isn't some analyst squirreled away in some basement planning things out, but no policymaker in the U.S. thinks they're going to tear down any of the Taiwanese manufacturing plants and brings them to the U.S. Yes, they definitely want, and TSMC is building factories in the U.S. to produce chips in the U.S. Definitely. But that is not The U.S. just does not think in those terms. I'm sorry if you think the U.S. thinks so. Now, like I say, I do think that there is a very high likelihood that if there is a serious invasion, and it's not going so well for the Taiwanese, I do think those factories would blow up. I don't necessarily think the Taiwanese would blow them up. I just think they would mysteriously blow up because some bombs just happen to fall on them. I do think the U.S. would do a targeted scorched earth on those. China's would make their own low microchip production line sooner, but patent laws force China to spend time to... No, China doesn't care about patent laws. No, I totally disagree with that. There's a really good a Chinese American who is based out of Taiwan, who, what is it, Asianometry or whatever. He's been looking at that. No, it's let's make a save here because we are coming to the end of. I overextended this episode already, but I'm gonna make another save. To make the highest end chips on the planet currently in manufacture that I know of, at least, there's only one company on the planet that makes mirrors, because you don't actually use lenses to focus it because it's so small, it's beyond lenses. There's only and it's, what is it, Siemens or Zeiss or somebody in Germany, I forget who. There's the only company on the planet that makes lenses that are good enough. Only one company, and it's in Germany. And then there's only one company to make the highest end. Because again, we have chips in our credit cards, we have chips in our microwave. Those are low end chips, the highest end chips, and that's what we're talking about now. Russia makes low grade chips, things like that. But the highest end, there's only one factory in the world that I know of, and it's in the Netherlands, that takes these lenses and builds the machines that makes the highest end chips. Okay, so and that's in the Netherlands, a Dutch company, and that's it. China, to my knowledge, and they're probably working as hard as they can. It's not about patents. They're probably working as hard as they can to build a company that can build the mirrors to make the high-end chips. And they're probably also working on, to try to build the machines that can build the highest end chips. But when TSMC wants to build their highest end chips, they buy these Dutch machines because that's the only place in the world to get them. So it is not patents. China doesn't care about patents. China doesn't care that much about exports, even if because they stopped that. So, yes, ASML, thank you, Arno. I don't keep all these names in my head of all the companies. So, yes, that is the bottleneck for chips. I still think the highest end TSMC chips are only made in Taiwan, and they make the highest end in the world. Now, IBM and Samsung and some other, Japanese, Korean and Japanese companies also build chips that are 1 or 2 steps behind the highest end of TSMC, but they're working to catch up. One company, what is it, IBM or Intel or whatever, has a major manufacturing in Israel. They have some in the U.S. TSMC is building, I think, 2 plants in the U.S. right next to each other. The first one was like grade 4, I think they're doing another one next to it. They're going to be grade 5, the highest end, here, I think, in Arizona. So they're moving out. Partially, I think, they realize they need to. The market for them is continuing to expand. So it isn't like it's not. They can't produce enough chips as it is. They need more. Yeah, I agree with Gamer. ZZ says the U.S. has purchased from TSMC for decades and has no interest in entering. No, we are building the factories here. TSMC is building factories here in Arizona, but we are not shutting down or trying to shut down. China had trade relations with Trump started the blockade. Yes, forced another. Yes, absolutely. China would very much want to resume. Yes, nowadays they are unable to manufacture. Yes, absolutely, and that's enough for PC and military chips. Only cell phones would suffer. Yeah, well, yeah. So, hey, Crispin, how you doing? Had, not has. Yeah, not exactly sure where. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. No, the U.S. Yeah. I think for strategic reasons, the factories would blow up if there's a Chinese invasion. There probably would be phone calls to the factories, meaning every little cell phone in that factory, because the U.S. can do this. The U.S. can make phone calls wherever it wants to, so long as the physical infrastructure is there. We know this because they did so in places like Iraq. They just make phone calls and say, evacuate the factory now, presumably in Chinese, and everybody in the factory would know to get out of the factory, that very shortly it ain't going to be there anymore. Had no interest in predict days. But yeah, yes, we do. Yes. And it's in the last, 5 years, serious interest has come in. And yes, Trump is, I know why the world hates Trump, because Trump wants to make America great again. And the world doesn't want it. America great again. Well, guys, I think we will end this episode here. I know it's gone on too long. Hopefully it was interesting. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron. And I also think we will be ending the live stream. This has been sort of a chaotic, not the best live stream. Maybe it was fun to watch, but we're withdrawing out of here. Yep. We'll be back tomorrow. We, as in, I hope Arno and others. Hello over on Rumble. Saw some Chief Brody 82. Don't know how long you were there. Sorry. Maybe tomorrow we can play the US. Maybe we can get to 6-7. That's quite possible. Maybe Starstreak will get a computer soon and get set up and join us too. Hope he does at some point. Also, TMC plant hasn't worked well in Arizona. Work culture differences. Arizona unions throwing fits and fighting since they're using Taiwanese construction worker. Taiwan has started to open up a plant in Japan now. Yes, we can do some. Tomorrow, US 6-7, quite possibly. There people have saying, the including there's work culture differences between Taiwan and the U.S. Absolutely. And there's also, whether it's construction or other work, but also once the manufacturing is up and going, some of the processes, I think, need to take like 12 hours so that, or some other long sort of hours, so that you can't interrupt the manufacturing process, and you probably need to have the same person there for the whole time. Now, if you say that that's a problem for the U.S., yeah, but the U.S. often has nurse shifts and doctor shifts that are 12 hours too. Can we find enough workers in the U.S. that are willing to work, not just maybe the way the Taiwanese work, but willing to work the way needed for manufacturing in the U.S.? The answer is yes, but it's not maybe as simple as that. out of the scale of the U.S., there are enough people with enough training or can get enough training to do this easily, okay? But it may take a while because they're not all right here ready to work down in Phoenix or wherever, the wherever the factory, I know it's not downtown Phoenix, but wherever it is. So, and as a percentage of the population, there's fewer, a smaller percent. But we're so big that, yes, give it time, pay a reasonable amount of money in the U.S., which may be a bit more. People will come for long-term jobs and do it. I don't know because I know a lot of the southern states. I don't know. Let me just find this out here. I want to see. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so yeah, for nearly 80 years, Arizona is a right-to-work state. So unlike some states, you cannot do compulsory union. Like in California, you can force people. I was forced to join a union for one job that I had. You can force people to join unions. So some states you have a right to work, meaning you can unionize and people can voluntarily join the union, but you can't have that as a requirement for working there. You're protected. So the unions might do what the unions might do, unless they're willing to go to violence. And I don't think Arizona would put up with the violence like some northeastern states, old Union states, might be willing to let the violence happen. Arizona won't put up with it. Arizona is not that woke. They'll clamp down on the violence. They'd let them picket, and march up and down, but not block entrances. They'd clear the entrances. To allow trucks and workers in and out of the place. But yeah, you could stand out in front of them with signs and go, don't cross the picket line, and people would have that thing. So yeah, and that probably did come into why they picked Arizona and not someplace like California to build the factory in. That probably really did factor into it. Yeah, Taiwanese are accustomed to work harder for lower salaries. Yeah, and it will be a more expensive manufacturing process, even doing the same thing. For USBR is great. Sherman's for the win. Yeah. Actually funny that they're opening factories in Japan. Taiwan was a Japanese land before World War II. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. No, it was right around the turn of the century, and again, the Asianometry, really good YouTube channel. Had an episode or two looking at Taiwan and Japan's occupation. And there was a real partnership there from that episode. And again, this guy, he's Chinese American, grew up in, not like in my school or anything, but my part of town. I know the environment that he grew up in. And but lives in Taiwan now. I think for his main job, not his YouTube channel. I think he's adopted, it appears from everything he says. I think he doesn't talk about whatever his main job, but I think there's a real job, and the YouTube channel is a side hustle. That sort of Chinese hardworking ethic. If you're awake, you're working kind of thing. So yeah, there is definitely a different work culture sense, but I know there's enough market that Taiwan will not be able to feed the world's needs for computer chips. And yeah, so they're is not from the Taiwanese perspective, as opposed to the nationalist Chinese that came in, but from the Taiwanese perspective, there's not a great hatred for Japan. There was not, like we see, at least it appears again from this guy who's living there and speaks Chinese, and and I don't know what the locals think of his accent, whether they tell from his accent when he speaks Chinese, whether they can tell he's an American or not. I don't know, because I wouldn't know if I heard the accents. I wouldn't know, but I do know he speaks Chinese. But so that meaning he can flow through the culture a lot more than a white person could. So I think he's telling us the truth about the occupation was much more integrated than we see with Korea and the very anti-Japanese feeling that Korea has. Yeah, Virginia is also a right-to-work state. You're right. And that's why manufacturing's moved to the south, from the northeast to the south, because right to work. All the manufacturing, Texas is a right to work. That's why all new Elon Musk factories are being made in Texas, as far as I know. I mean, there's legacy factories up in California that he hasn't shut down yet, but I think you just give him enough of a push, and he would shut those down. So they're all moving to the south for right to work. Okay, guys, like I was saying, tomorrow War Thunder, Monday combat mission over on Slytherine's channel if you want to join me there. I think noonish Monday for that, but 9 a.m. my time, talking California time here. We will be back with more, and of course next weekend. So thanks everybody. Loved hanging out with you. See you, Ragar, ZZ, Arno, Crispin. Who else? Jamie Nito. I don't want to. Jamuska, Starstreak. Yeah, everybody. Wayne. Everybody who's still around. Thanks so much. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few people. Yes, Soup, Arno.